You're welcome back. And if you're just checking in with us, this is the main conversation segment on Enterprise Morning. Isn't it all politics? That's one of the big questions many have been asking since the news broke out on Tuesday in Kaduna that lawmakers in the State House of Assembly are now set to investigate the tenure of the immediate past governor, Nasser El-Rufai.
Yes, so that's because the lawmakers have constituted a committee to investigate how the $350 million World Bank loan obtained by Nasser El-Rufai administration was spent, as well as other financial spending and abandoned projects initiated between 2015 and 2023.
The Speaker of the Assembly, Yusuf Lehman, inaugurated the 13-man committee during plenary. The constitution of the committee followed a motion moved by the member representing the Kaura constituency, Mubu Yusuf, asking the House to investigate all the loans obtained by the El-Rufai administration.
During the debate, the former Speaker Yusuf Zailani, during his tenure, the Kaduna state government obtained the loan, denied that the Ninth Assembly approved the loan for the executive.
Well, as things stand, a spotlight on the administration of Nasser El-Rufai as governor of Kaduna State looks set to provide enough art and scenes for a long drama. And to do justice to the subject on the reference is Cyril Abako, a social commentator and a veteran journalist. Good morning, Cyril.
Good morning for having us.
Thank you for still staying with us here on Enterprise TV. So let's quickly look at what's happening in Kaduna State. Some people have said this is all politics, a projection for 2027 and 2031. But if you look at this critically, you realize that is it a loan that was obtained or money spent? I mean, this is different, right? The loan that was obtained and the money is being spent. Because I'm saying this because before you take loans, it's a process. You have to go through a due process. So who signed on the loan? The House of Assembly, the Budget Department, and all of that. Do you think this is all politics to rope in or to end the career of the former Kaduna State governor?
Well, good question to begin the conversation, I have to say. But I see two scenarios playing out, two probabilities. One is the fact that this is a puppet play, puppeteering. There's somebody at the back and, on the stage you're seeing. If that were the case, it would be that somebody is not comfortable with El-Rufai and wants to give my assignment. You know the way we say the street balance, to keep him busy and keep him off their back. That's what it could be. But if that would be all that this is about, then what a shame. Because they will end up using institutions to seek political advantage and then not to come out of it, as has mostly been the case in many situations. The other one is that it could all be in the name of probity and accountability and virtue in public service, in which case they found out that there were irregularities in the way and manner in which El-Rufai undertook his tenure as governor, and that they feel something right must be done to right the wrongs of the past. And so they set up the committee. Now, when you listen to how the proceedings went yesterday in Kaduna, ostensibly, we now hear that the former Speaker of the House, Yusuf Lehman, said he didn't even approve for the governor to go and get those loans, which is an egregious breach of public administrative procedures. If it is even found to be true, I don't think that's something anybody should take lightly. That means the governor became a dictator. Parliament is the only thing you won't have in a military regime. Because normally you still have your judiciary. Dictator means there's nobody to check the functions of the executive arm of government. So they dictate. You just say, do this, we do this, and it's done. There are laws that are called decrees at the federal level and edicts in states. But in a democracy, you have parliament to whom the president must make resort before he does anything, or prime minister before he does anything he can do. So if a governor, a sub-federal executive, was acting without recourse to parliament, to lawmakers, it means he became a god unto himself. He became the law to himself. And that shouldn't be allowed to sleep. But we can delimit the argument and take it into a broader context, and to look at everything that's happened since 1990, since May 29 last year, and how they didn't find that Mr. El-Rufai had misappropriated or mishandled the affairs of Kaduna State up until 11 months later, at the time when the governor made the remark that El-Rufai's children fired back. And El-Rufai said some days ago, not too long ago, that the government was now paying more in fuel subsidy than many Nigerians know. So before then, we saw him at SB Secretariat. He went there twice to hobnob with them. You know the thing with Mr. El-Rufai, the things he did to Mr. Jonathan and Buhari, if he thinks he can do to Tinubu and walk away, they know his game very well. They're working in out with him, so they will keep him busy. He may have to go and be he may have to go and beg for his freedom. Otherwise, he's looking at something he didn't bargain for. I can tell you that.
All right, so speaking of either going to bed or not, it's often said that when food comes to shore, so many times your family is the only persons that possibly would have your back. And right after that submission by Sani, one of the sons of Nasser, El-Rufai, went to his X platform and he said, Faith, and I would love to quote it. He said, these guys have realized that they are wholly incompetent, and the only way to mask the nonsense is to deflect from a governor who is always sleeping in Abuja to a litany of incompetent aides who were only rewarded for foolish political reasons. Now, coming from the son of El-Rufai in defense of his father, do you think the center is no longer holding?
That doesn't look like a defense of his father to me. Look at the age difference between the governor and this boy, Bashir, who is talking.
Yeah.
You know, Bashir's elder brother, who is in House of Reps, Bello, Senator said that he wouldn't feel good taking sides in the battle because El-Rufai is his father and Uba Sani is his mentor. He said it. This other younger one, maybe because of his inexperience and lack of exposure, political exposure, is talking this way to the governor of his own state. What effrontery? What audacity? That's an insult. You are talking to the governor and he has never come out to apologize.
And you think his father is not aware of this? And
well, the father is aware. And the father didn't also publicly scold him to say, I didn't raise you this way. So it's like saying the apple didn't fall from the tree. You see, my own is, if everything is good that ends good, is that not so? If El-Rufai, which I believe he does have, the freedom of speech to say what it is he wants to say, government is paying more subsidy now, government is doing it now, I can join any party I want to join. He's the name by doing the SB to kind of not with them. It's democratic right. His son speaking at a governor is equally democratic right. The lawmakers investing in El-Rufai for financial misappropriation is also their democratic right. Let everybody just abuse his own right as he thinks fit. If so there's no there will be no problem with that.
So you speak to the fact that Nasir El-Rufai was a chief contributor or supporter of the incumbent administration, and some people are worried about the glacial or frosty relationship that has suddenly transpired between Obasani and himself, and then this might be regarded as a witch hunt. Do you think that may be true?
So this is the I've been speaking to it somehow, but let me come directly. One of the things El-Rufai did was that as governor of Kaduna State, I think he spent a lot of his energy creating enemies. If you've observed the man's trajectory over the years, it may not be right to say it's a trademark. Maybe not, but the pattern is fairly familiar with him. It was El-Rufai who was Minister of the FCT and went on demolition houses.
Yeah.
And then said something like the National Assembly senators are stupid also. Obasanjo had to drag him to the National Assembly and kneel down to beg the senators on his behalf. You see what I mean? El-Rufai was the one who, even under the era of Yaradua not handing power over to Jonathan back then, the next man was that there was a cabal in the presidency. He came out to say later that there was no cabal. He invented that thing just to, he's a man who like, he talks in the way Well, after he became governor of Kaduna State, he went to the home of the man they consider to be his godfather, the APC chairman for vice chairman for the Northwest Zone, demolished the man's house. Senators Hunkuyi, Senators Hunkuyi, Shehu Sani and Co. It was El-Rufai that liked to masterminded their political, is it retirement now? Or
Exclusion.
Yes. So he's a man like that. I don't know. It may appear that he makes more enemies than he makes friends. But that is fine. I mean, you can't tell a man how to eat his food, right? Or use his cutlery. It's entirely his choice. Now, coming to the issue at hand. El-Rufai couldn't have become governor of Kaduna if El-Rufai didn't support the bid. In a manner of speaking, let's even say that's his boy. Let's even say that's his man. He could have. But we also saw how El-Rufai played a very key role in helping Tinubu become president. But let me even buttress the fact. At the time, we had a lot of things going on in the country at the same time. We had fuel scarcity that was needless, the cash crunch that was also needless, and all of that. It was Nasir El-Rufai that went on in Kaduna State to give an address that looked every bit like a coup speech. We can't forget these things.
Against the president.
Yeah, against a sitting president. And then he said, Tinubu will become president, etc. After Tinubu became president, he was the only person that the senator said that he couldn't become a minister because of the security report. And I said, that's a lie. People who didn't have pharmacist certificate were made ministers. People who AI wrote profiles for, they are becoming ministers. People who hadn't done anything, whose only qualification was that the president nominated them, became ministers. A country in which you don't need you don't even need to have SSC to become president. You become minister. It was only El-Rufai with his big high learning that was not made minister. He had minister in the past, but this time around he couldn't become minister. He traveled and came back. He said, "I wanted to see the president." They gave appointment. He went. The president said he couldn't help it, that it was a security report on him. What like some funny thing. El-Rufai being who he is now said, okay, this minister, I don't want to minister anymore. I think he could see for himself that they didn't want him there anymore. So this is the thing. Now, he didn't keep quiet. He has been talking. Of late, he now said that government is paying more subsidy than people can imagine. The following day, the Kaduna State House of Assembly want to keep him busy so that he will stop talking and delivering speeches that are not necessary for Bola Tinubu's government. You can put the thing which one and one together and know where it's coming from. You know, if the man does not know where his problem is coming from, he will not be able to solve it. And he's a wise man. El-Rufai is a man of high learning. I believe you should understand where it's coming from. They will keep him busy in his own state. So it's not federal issues.
So speak to why this is coming from his own mentee, so to speak.
Well, in politics, mentors sometimes mentees do better than a mentor sometimes. So didn't he do it to the governor of Kaduna State? The governorship slot in 2015 was meant for Shehu Sani. But they came together, I don't know, some elders of Kaduna came together and said, okay, let it be for El-Rufai. What did they get out of that? You know what I mean? What did they get out of it? So now, he too did it back to them, you know, for you. So it's not new. What you saw, you reap. It doesn't matter who is used to how it comes by, but somehow you just find that it happens.
All right, so talking about what you sow, you reap. Do you think El-Rufai is about to reap what he has sown all the while? And secondly, given the serial nature of borrowing of one government after another, Governor Ubasani is saying that what the liability he has right now is about $585 million, 85 billion naira, and 115 contractual liabilities.
Yes.
Now the question is it possible that the total makeup of the debt that Kaduna State has is a carryover from past administration? But of course, I'd love you to answer the first question. That is,
yes. So
is it possible to?
Well, I'm not God, so I can't say categorically saying what is. I mean, I don't think it's El-Rufai. for a number of us who grew up listening to these men, and obviously, especially Nasir El-Rufai, the former Emir of Kano, Sanusi, Lamido Sanusi, Ingo Jokwenzibela, they were at the time the cream of the best appointed people in the country. Whether you like them or not is immaterial. They are men of learning, they are exposed, so somehow they are countrymen. So that's fine. But coming back to the second question, which is so Uba Sani is not fighting El-Rufai, as far as the facts can tell. It is the State House of Assembly that is investigating. So let them even say they're fighting him. Investigating if he's clean, a clear conscience, he has that accusation. And if he goes there, he should go with clean hands. If he knows that he did it, that he's not guilty of anything, it's clear. After all, as a senator, Uba Sani was senator when I was governor of Kaduna State. You cannot take a loan from any foreign lender without the approval of the senators of your state.
Okay. So which means
so Uba Sani, yes. But the question is this: in a sense, could Uba Sani have sincerely blocked a loan request from his own home state when he's the governor's ally and not be seen to be anti? You know what I mean? If the loans are for developmental projects, can you sincerely even if you didn't agree with the governor, should he be able to oppose? Because if you did, then the town senate will also oppose. And if that were the case, how can somebody from Kaduna State be the one fighting and opposing when he and the governor are not personally disenchanted?
Right.
So in that case, it could have, it's fine from Kaduna, let's let it go. But now politics is on the table. And when that is on the table, it is self-interest and your own personal self-preservation that you fight for first, not any other thing.
Okay, so as a thought leader, as we wrap up, as a thought leader, looking at the scenario in Kaduna State, do you see SDP taking over from the incumbents
SDP
in 2027?
That's far-fetched. And in fact, not even decamped to the SDP yet.
Okay.
He has only gone there twice. But I think that in 20 or more years, a man's pattern, a man's game plan should be fairly familiar to those who were with him in trenches and those who have also worked against, being on the other side of his strategies. So they know him very well. Rufai was in the CPC with Buhari, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, true.
Okay, and yet he could afford to deliver a speech against him as president. So you look at it. I think that El-Rufai's game plan is fairly known to both those who have worked with him and those who have been against him.
Right.
So whether he has anything to offer will remain to be seen. That is if he even offers it. But his problem with the SDP will not help him.
No.
And him turning himself into the chief attack dog of the opposition against his own party and President Bola Tinubu. And like I said, they don't know him, so it will not be anything.
Please, I wouldn't want us to leave, if we don't talk about this, especially as it affects those in southern Kaduna and its effect in all of this. Because when we talk about Kaduna State is supposed to be a mix, a 50-50 mix between the southern Kaduna Christian-dominated area and the northern Kaduna, which is of course the Muslim-dominated area. But with the coming of El-Rufai, it made it look like it was a whole number of Muslim-dominated Kaduna State, of course disenfranchising the southern Kaduna people. Now, I know this might not be coming anytime in the future, but do you think it is time, of all states in Nigeria, it is time for the southern Kaduna to have a state of their own? So at least they can own governors to themselves and not just leaving it to El-Rufai and its cronies that are busy making things difficult for that demography.
Well, I want to first of all say that if it is a 50-50 situation, as you put it,
yeah, it is,
then there is an actual possibility of having a Christian governor, in my view. Because even if the Christians pulled out, or the Southern Kaduna pulled out television and all those places, right, and formed a state of their own, maybe from the river downwards, if that is even the geography, really. It may not be a guarantee for good governance, because we challenge that over and above religion and all of those things. Let us have a free and fair election. In fairness to Mr. El-Rufai, as governor of Kaduna State, the election was free and fair.
The election was free and fair.
They voted electronically. His party lost in a lot of places. In fact, if you go and check the 2023 election in Kaduna, Labour Party won in several places.
Yeah.
So it was only his own election that I appeared he had lost, but maybe they did whatever it was they did. So if we have fair elections, let the votes count and let's see how that really fares. Other than just saying that, because there are people, I mean, Pakistan is an example of a country that grew from India to achieve Islamic purity. And Pakistan is one of the most unstable countries in the world. I don't think any country has a greater potential of assassination of the prime minister than Pakistan does.
Right.
Very true.
Right. We've been speaking with Cyril Abaku, a veteran journalist and a thought leader, a social commentator. Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much for having me today.
All right, Henry. We look forward to a time in this country where we have leaders who are true leaders. I mean, leaders with the heart of the people, to do the right thing, to foster environments where people can thrive positively, and you wake up in the morning and you are happy. Every time I wake up and see that social media is washed and gone with killings from Plateau to Borno and all that, it breaks my heart really, Henry.
Yeah, very true. And what amazed me the most is the fact that most of these people were talking about, when they travel out of Nigeria to other places where democracy works, where good leaders are there, they enjoy the dividend, the true dividends of democracy.
Right.
But unfortunately, when they come back home, it's the opposite of the case.
Let's hope that they heed to our clarion call and replicate what they see, as Henry rightly said, when they go outside to experience true democracy. And that's the size of our package this morning. Do well to follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. We implore that you log into our website at www.enterprisetvnews.com. I'm Chinyere Igweodu.
And I am Henry Igwebike. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye from us.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.